Go ahead.
Okay. We did reflexive verbs, and all reflexive verbs end in SE. And they all occur in present or preterite tense. And the box that you use for these are may, te, say, nos, and say.
For your pronouns.
Right. You can't just cut me off this way. I'm getting there.
Just adding to it.
It's on my way.
Sorry, go ahead. I won't interrupt.
Okay. Unless you feel the need. If you only have one verb in a sentence, you place the SE in front of the verb unless it's conjugated in this, or not conjugated, but it's in a different form because of the subject.
Always make your pronoun agree with your subject.
And then unless two verbs occur, like in the example, then you place the SE on the end in the correct pronoun form. So the second verb would be not conjugated, but you would put the pronoun on the end of it to agree with your subject.
So your pronoun always has to match regardless if you put it before the verb or at the end of the second verb. Now, the rule still applies that if you have two verbs in a row, you don't conjugate your second one. So your second verb wouldn't get conjugated, but the pronoun that you attach at the end still has to agree with your subject. Now, any verb that you see in Spanish, you can conjugate in any tense. The point of this section is that when we went over reflexive verbs, we went over them in the present tense. That's not to say that they can't be conjugated in the preterite. So we're going to basically do both tenses for reflexives. You will have to use your context clues and keywords to help you know if you're in the present tense or in the preterite tense, just like your practice on your review sheet that lets you know basically what tense you're conjugating in based on your keywords. So they have a couple as an example there for you, but you have a better list, more complete list on your review sheet of what keywords signal present tense, what keywords signal preterite or past tense. But you will have to use those clues to know if you're conjugating in the present, and if you are, you need to worry about things like ODUE, E to I changes in the boot for present tense. But if those same verbs you were to conjugate in the preterite or past tense, remember dormirse. If you see a se, you need a reflexive pronoun. But dormir is an O to UE boot change in the present tense. But the same verb, dormirse, in the preterite makes a totally different change. Obviously, you would use your preterite endings for preterite tense, but it would now be an O to U basement. Only the bottom two would change for that verb. So you have to watch out for different things that are irregular in the present tense, different things that are irregular in the preterite, and each verb has its own set of rules. But what stays the same for either present or preterite? When you're right, the reflexive pronouns. Good. Okay. Questions on reflexive, doing them in the present or preterite? Okay.